came with 2 other vials of the cleaning stuff in different flavours. I think there was like flavours like you're going to eat it. Am I going to run out of yarn on the train? I risked it, and I have done that classic thing this sort of sweater season, in that I have oversubscribed myself quite a lot. Hello and welcome back to Knitting with Betty. I am your host Betty, and I'm back in my pink palace today. So I have been away in the Lake District for work, and so I've been very tired. I only went away for 5 days, but oh my goodness, did we pack a lot in. And it was a work trip, so it was doubly exhausting because I had to use my brain. But we can talk a little bit later about who I work for and why it was so exciting. But yes, I'm back. I got back not this Monday just been, but the Monday before, so I've been back about 10 days by now, I suppose, and still absolutely knackered. And I have done that classic thing this sort of sweater season, in that I have oversubscribed myself quite a lot. I've been busily signing up to lots of different things because they all sound really exciting, and then I've looked at my diary and thought, oh, how am I actually going to do all of this and work and eat properly and sleep? And yes, so you'll have to bear with me over the next few months. I might have less videos if I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear. But saying that, I do have lots to talk about because I've got lots going on. So I suppose, what shall I start with? Let's look at my list. So I guess I could start with moths, because I forgot to mention this last time actually. So a couple of months ago I had a problem with moths, in that I opened my jumper drawer and a moth flew out, and I immediately went into panic mode. So I had to clear out all of my natural fibre knitteds, and put them in the freezer for 72 hours, which took ages because you can't get that many jumpers in the freezer at one time when there's food in there. And for 72 hours, that's like 3 days, so it takes a lot of time. So I think it took me like 3 weeks in total to get through all my jumpers, freezing them all, and then I pop them all in plastic bags back into my drawers after hoovering out the drawers, just in case. And apparently that is enough to keep the moths at bay. What I did in the meantime, I went to my local, like, what do you call them, like ironmonger type shops. It's quite an old-fashioned kind of shop, and I got lots of moth stay away kind of things. I got these little, like, I don't know what you'd call them, they're like little trays, and you peel off the top, and it's got like this it's almost like a gel in it, and it's really stinky, and it I think it's meant to target like the larvae stage of the moths. So it's quite good in that it's preventative. So if you have missed like a moth larvae, what plural is, it will get rid of them. But the thing with them is they smelt really bad. They smelt like kind of fruity, but not in a good way. And it was making my jumpers really smell. And I didn't want to wear them because I could smell it like on me, and like it was not good. So I actually got sucked into the marketing for this company, which I do a lot. And you know, working in marketing, I should know these things. I should know not to like click and buy things from the internet, but I do. So they've been like hard marketing this stuff. So it's from a company called Purdy and Figg, and it's a cleaning solution. But the reason I got this is because they targeted me with a anti-moth video. And I have to say, I am not the cleaning type. I am not one of those people that enjoys it, who enjoys, like, in their spare time, polishing all the surfaces and making things really neat and tidy. I'm a really messy person. So I'm not really their ideal customer, because I wouldn't choose to clean, basically. And actually, we've just hired a cleaner, so I don't have to do it. But because it was anti-moth, I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. And they do like seasonal products. So the bad thing about this company is that it is a subscription, and you can only get the products once you subscribe, which isn't too much of a problem because you can go in and cancel. But they send you every 3 months, they send you like refills. I don't clean that often to like need another refill in 3 months time. Like, this will last me like a good year kind of thing. But this came in the seasonal. The Moth one you can't get separately. It came in the seasonal package. So I think it was like the autumn scents or whatever. And the scent was cedar and something else. Maybe patchouli or something like that. I'll find it out and pop that up for you. But it came with 2 other vials of the cleaning stuff in different flavours. I think there was like flavours like you're going to eat it. Scents. So I think the other one was like a citrusy one, and there was another, maybe a lavender one, I don't know. But I was interested in the Moth one, obviously. It smells really good. And I went around my bedroom with this, spraying my chest of drawers and polishing the front of my chest of drawers and my dressing table and the bed head and my side tables, because it smelled really good. And all you do is, the bottle comes with it. So you have this little vial of the cleaning scent. You put it into the bottle, and then you fill up the rest with water. And that's your cleaning solution for whatever you want to clean, I suppose. The only thing, this doesn't do well on mirrors or windows. It's quite oily, I guess you could say, because it has got essential oils in it. And that was one of the selling points to me, is that it's all sort of natural oils and like more kind of chemicals than your usual cleaning stuff. But it does smear on mirrors and on windows, so they do suggest that you water this down again, I think, so that like you have a quarter solution and then the rest water. So I'd need to get another bottle. Clever, they only give you 1 bottle. So that's the only sort of gripe, but it smells really good, and so I don't mind my jumper smelling of this. So yeah, I can continue using this in my bedroom. I'm going to take all my jumpers out of my drawers again and spray this in the drawer, so that it's nice and scented. And it is one of those things you can, like, it smells quite strong at first, but you can use it weekly. So I'll spray it, or get my cleaner to spray it once a week. That sounds really bad, doesn't it? Get somebody else to do it. Just to keep the scent fresh, so that it keeps the moths away. So far, I haven't seen any moths. They definitely haven't been coming out of my drawer as they did last time. So hopefully this will work. But yeah, that's a great, if you want to try it for your moths. I don't know if it actually works or not. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I just liked it, so I thought I should tell you guys about it, because the other thing with the other moth stuff that I got, it was quite chemically and like really harsh chemicals. So I don't know if it, like, yes, it targeted moths, but did it like kill other stuff as well? I'm not really sure. So yeah, I didn't get on with that at all. It smelled kind of like banana-y in a way. I think that's why I didn't like it, because I'm not a big banana fan. So yeah, this smells really good. So if you want to get rid of moths, maybe give this a go. Although you only get the 1 cedar thing, so if you are one of those people that likes to clean a lot, it might not last very long. It might only last a month for you, whereas this will last me a year. But so that's something to bear in mind. But you can get the refills after a 3-month period, but again, you can't get the separate Moth one. So if you're listening, Purdy and Figg, please do just a Moth one for us knitters, because we will buy lots of it. And I think once you've subscribed, you can buy top up, like packages, like bundles, whatever you call them. So yeah, that was the moths that I had forgotten to mention last time, so give that a go if you want. Next, all of my knit-alongs. So actually, let's do what I'm knitting first, get that out of the way. So I was knitting the Tyrolean knit book cardigan. This is the Annie jacket, and so I think the last time I saw you, was I about here? Can't remember, but I have finished the front and back, so I knitted in the round, even though the pattern was in yeah, it was a vintage pattern, so it would have been just flat. So this is the front and the back done. Obviously needs blocking, but it's beautiful. I love this pattern so much. It was really fun to do, and it knitted up really quickly. So that's what it looks like at the moment. I do need to block that one. So I managed to finish the front and the back, and I did take my knitting on the train up to the Lake District. I was knitting my sleeve, and I made the mistake of not bringing a second ball of yarn along, because I thought I was getting to the end of the yarn ball, and I thought, am I going to run out of yarn on the train? I risked it, and because the Bendigo woolen mill yarn that I'm using, it comes in quite big balls. It comes in these like 200-gram balls, so that's quite heavy when you're travelling. You don't want to take extra weight with you if you can help it, right? So I didn't take it along with me, and actually I did run out of yarn and could have done with this, because I didn't have anything to knit on the way home, which was very sad. Actually, I just slept on the way home anyway because I was so knackered, but there we go. So I have done this first sleeve. So I know it's the last time I said I was going to do 2 sleeves at a time, but I cast on and had started it and then realised, oh, that's what I was going to do. But I didn't have the heart to unravel it and start again to do 2 at a time. So I have done them separately, but actually these have been quite quick to knit up, even though it's stocking stitch and 4-ply. And I'm really impressed with Bendigo Woolen Mill, because I got the front and the back done, and I got to here on the first sleeve before I ran out of yarn for the first ball. So by the time I've done, I'm probably not going to have used even 300 grams. I'll probably only like 250 grams, which is pretty impressive. And I had 3 200-gram balls of this. So with the leftover, it leads me nicely into what I've been watching recently. And I know I've mentioned this on my community tab already, but I am watching All Creatures Great and Small. And I spotted a rather nice knit that Helen was wearing in the very first episode. I won't give you any spoilers about storylines or anything, because I know you Americans haven't seen it yet and won't get till the new year. But she has a fantastic pink sweater on. So with the remainder, I'm going to be able to make that, because it's a little short sleeve one, which is very exciting. But yeah, All Creatures Great and Small, I love that TV programme. To me, it's a little bit like, what's the other one? Call the Midwife, in that it's very gentle TV. It's very, it's a nice TV, really. And although the stories can be quite poignant, and oftentimes they do sort of broach subjects that are quite relevant nowadays, they're still really funny, and you kind of have that juxtaposition of like laughing out loud and then it being quite sad, which I quite like. But it's just cozy TV, isn't it? And when you're knitting, you don't particularly want any TV to challenge you, or I definitely don't anyway. And I just feel with everything that's going on in the world at the moment, we kind of need those programmes to switch off from all the nastiness, don't we? And elections and all that rubbish. So I highly recommend, if you haven't seen All Creatures Great and Small, go back to the very beginning. I think we are on maybe the 4th series, maybe the 5th series. It's been going quite a few years, so there's a few series for you to catch up on before the new series starts if you're in North America. And even if you're in the UK, you can catch up on the old series at the moment, and then start watching the new series, and it's just really nice. And it's obviously got all those nice knits in it, and like I'm a little bit conflicted about the knits because, or the costume department in these kind of dramas, because wartime Britain and post-war Britain was very dull. It was very utilitarian. There was heavy rationing during the war. I don't think it was as bad in America, so you perhaps can't understand as much how dull and restrictive it was in the UK, and indeed across Europe it probably was as well, because all the manufacturing efforts would have gone into the war effort. So my only gripe with it is from like a historic point of view. It's too bright, it's too colourful, like they're wearing too nice clothes, like everything would have been like mended and handed down, and like nothing was new really. You had to have coupons for clothing rations and for wool rations and things like that, so all the clothing just looks too perfect and too nice, whereas it would have been a lot more threadbare, I think, and a lot more dull, and they wouldn't have been as exciting, the colours that they would have been using. But that's my only like gripe. But from like a girly point of view, I love that it's really colourful and beautiful and looks really lovely. So horses for courses and all that. So that's what I'm currently knitting. Then on to what I'm going to be knitting. So this is where I have oversubscribed myself. So the first thing I have to mention, let me get the patterns. So I think I mentioned last time that I have signed up to a community for machine knitting, called the Machine Knitting Community. Excuse me. And I have never done any pattern cutting or pattern development in the knitwear world. I'm completely new to that. My background was very much on the fashion side of things, but then again I was in the lingerie industry, so that again is very different from dressmaking, women's wear, pattern cutting. So when I saw on the community that they were doing a course on knitwear pattern cutting and what's the word I'm looking for, development, I was really excited because I loved doing that. That was the one part of my degree that I actually enjoyed. Like the stress, I did not enjoy. And actually, like the sewing part of it, I didn't enjoy that much. Like I could do it, but I just didn't. That wasn't what I really enjoyed doing. I very much enjoyed the pattern cutting side of things, and then the pattern grading as well. So I've been doing. I think they're doing it over 6 weeks. And every week they take you through the next step. And the first week was last week, and we did a jumper block. So we put that block onto paper from our own measurements. And then this week, which is tonight, we are going to be adjusting that pattern block. So she's going to be teaching us different ways to alter it. Whether that be size or adding in fancy bits and pieces. So I was really excited because this speaks to me so much, and I just really wanted to learn. And I really want to learn like development of knitting patterns, because it is a very different kind of pattern to like a woven fabric pattern. Because obviously in knitwear you don't need darts, whereas in woven fabrics you do. So whilst it was sort of quite similar to what I had done at university, it was quite different in that you don't have to worry about darts, which is brilliant. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting course to do over 6 weeks. And so I think we're doing other blocks. So we'll be doing like a skirt, maybe trouser was mentioned, and and then translating that block into how you get that onto a knitting machine and create a garment from it. And that's the bit that I don't really know how to do, so that would be really interesting and like sorting out gauge and all that jazz. But I have been like searching on the internet for more vintage machine knitting patterns, because I just love them. I really want to try some of these. So some of the more exciting ones, this one speaks to my old past, being the lingerie. It's like a vest, a little vesty here and like a little slip here. That was quite cute. So that's a Sirdar one. They look majorly warm, don't they? So that is in bust 32 to 36 inches. And that's made from 2-ply. Gosh, that's teeny tiny. And that, yeah, Sirdar. So I might have a go at knitting that one day when I get time, maybe next year. What else have I got in my bundle here? This one. This is the knitting machine that I have, the Knitmaster. So I don't know if the pass up ones vary majorly from a Knitmaster. I suppose I can only find out by trying it, right? I thought this was quite fun. 2 little, quite easy sweaters there. So 2 attractive jumpers that can be knitted on a Knitmaster in 45 minutes. So that would be a really good video to do, wouldn't it? See if I can actually get this done in 45 minutes. With a lot of swearing maybe, but there we go. And that's a 36-inch bust. I have to change that. Not 36 inches, guys. Not that well endowed. What else have I got? I've got the man's one, because in my shop I don't have any men's machine knitting patterns, so I thought that was a cool one to have. And that's got a really nice, what would you call that pattern? It's almost like a diamond kind of woven-y kind of pattern. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. It's quite cool, isn't it? And do you like my nails, by the way? My Halloween nails with blood dripping. So I thought that was quite a fun one. And then, oh yeah, this one is brilliant. A bikini, a knitted bikini. I mean, who wouldn't want that? And then like a little beach cover up there. Isn't that so cool? I might have to have a go at that one. And that's a Knitmaster as well, so that should be quite easy for me to do. And then the last in my machine knitting ones, this one was gorgeous. Like this beautiful dress with cable on. So with cables, you have to hand manipulate them. So it's slightly more, like that won't take me 45 minutes, that'll take me like 45 days. But I thought that was quite a cute one. And that's so wearable, isn't it? Can you imagine in springtime, like a beautiful pale primrose yellow or a lilac? That'd be so beautiful. So that was machine knitting patterns that I found on eBay, and because I was on eBay looking at vintage patterns, I thought I'll get some more just like normal knitting patterns as well. So this one is like a cute little lacy jumper, which I thought was really beautiful, and I bet that's really fast to knit as well. And then this one is a lacy cardigan, which I thought was quite cute as well. So at some point these will go onto my my shop, my Etsy shop, but don't hold your breath for it to be this side of Christmas. I did that mass scanning of patterns, so I've got lots of other vintage patterns that I'll probably do before I get these up, but they're just a bit of fun anyway, aren't they? So that is the machine knitting side of things. And then, I haven't got this. I'm back, so I had to quickly get a chair to get the yarn off the top of my wardrobe, because I shoved it up there out of the way too. It's quite a big box. So I am going to be doing the gingerbread Sirdar crochet along. Let's get this box in. Look how lovely beautifully they wrap their stuff in. So they're from Yorkshire, so you get a little explanation of what AOP means. And this is how the kit comes to you. So in my kit I bought directly from Sirdar. You get like some Christmas cards. They've made a little Christmas tree out of yarn, which I thought was quite cute. You get the little crochet along label. I'm struggling for words, I'm so tired. And then you get these little intarsia, what they called? Bobbins in paper. There must be some intarsia aspect to the knit along, so that's why you get those. So you get 3 of these, which is quite exciting, and then obviously all of your yarn for the knit along. So there's quite a few colours in here, some more down here. Got your Christmassy reds and greens, and then the gingerbread house is made out of this sort of mustardy goldy colour. So I have done Sirdar knit-alongs before, and they are fantastic. Their marketing is really, really good. I'll give them that. So I did the coronation crochet along. Did I say knit along? I meant crochet along. Which was for the King's coronation in 2023, in the May of 2023. So it was really good fun to do. I changed the colours slightly because I didn't like them. But this one I thought was really clever. This, like, sort of got the ermine and then the gems on the crown, and I thought it was really, really pretty, like the royal purple. So I did that and I really enjoyed it. So their crochet alongs, they tend to be over 6 weeks, and each week you get a new part of the pattern and a new video. And it is quite hard to keep up pace with the 6 weeks if you're doing other things at the same time. So I think this one I pretty much kept up to speed until about the 4th or 5th week, and then I kind of, as the blanket started growing, these borders kept getting longer and longer to do, so it took me a little bit longer. So I think I probably finished it like a couple of months after it had finished officially. But that's a great thing. All of the videos are on YouTube, so they you can go back and do it at your own speed. And I did try to do the summer or spring crochet along that was the blossoms and buds blanket, because it was really, really pretty. But when I started doing it, I realised actually I wasn't enjoying it, so I stopped. And I think part of it was I didn't buy the yarn kit from them because I wanted to use up old yarn that I had lying around, and that probably didn't motivate me to actually use the yarn to get rid of it, sort of thing. So I did go for the pack this time, and their knit-alongs are really affordable. So the yarn pack was £40, and when I did the King's coronation one, it was £35, I think. So that's inflation for you. But so it's quite reasonable, and their yarn is on the reasonable side of things. Now, I don't particularly like their yarn, and maybe it's a bit of yarn snobbery, but it is acrylic. But one of the colours, the cream, had either been left too close to like a radiator or somewhere hot, and it had kind of melted, and because it's acrylic it kind of went plasticky, and this was like throughout the skein of yarn, and I couldn't be bothered to complain and get another one. I just used a separate ball because they do provide plenty of yarn. I think I might have actually had to buy another couple of creams because I used them up. Anyway, but the great thing about them, if you're doing these kind of blankets for charity, or if you're knitting sort of like stuffed toys, that sort of thing for charity, it's really affordable yarn. So I don't want to bash them in any way, shape or form, but that is something for you to bear in mind. If you do this knit along, it's not wool, it is acrylic. So if you are a purist, you might not get on with their yarn, but it doesn't bother me, and it's quite sort of cozy. And I keep this on the end of my bed in the sort of like spring and autumn months when it gets a bit chillier and you haven't quite swapped over to your winter duvet. This is great to have on the end of the bed. So yeah, I'm going to be doing the gingerbread knit along, and I'll pop up a picture of what it looks like, and it's a really, really cool design. It's the same lady that did the blossoms and buds knit along, and that was a really pretty design as well. So she's got a talent there. So I'm looking forward to doing this one. But I'm also doing other knit alongs, so whether it will take me 6 weeks or 6 months is another question, isn't it? So that's that one. Then the final sort of knit along that I'm doing is for my boss. So some people have already sort of cottoned on to the fact that I work for Susan Crawford Vintage, and it was by absolute fluke that I started working with her, because I've been a long time fan of Susan's, and when she had her retreats come up for sale, I immediately booked onto it, even though I couldn't really afford it. I was like, I've got to go, it's going to be so much fun. And it was so much fun. And sort of obviously when we were there, we got chatting, me and Susan, and I said, you know, I work in marketing and I'm looking to change my job because I don't like my current position and all that jazz. And a couple of months after I got back from the retreat, she sort of emailed me and said, would you like to do a few hours a week for me? I need a marketing person. I was like, yeah. You don't have to ask me. Oh, I'm there. So I started working for her, I think it must have been July. And so I've been doing sort of like a bit of social media work and email work as well, just to take the pressure off her. And this is the one thing about Susan, she is still very hands-on in the marketing. So when it says that it's from Susan, it is from Susan, it's not from me, sort of thing. But I do the main bulk of the work to take that pressure off her. She then puts it into her own words and makes it more sound more like her, if that makes sense. So I do the start of the work, and she very much finishes it. But yeah, it's been the easiest and the best job that I've had in marketing, because I actually love the product. And I know that sounds really silly, because like when you work in marketing, the general sort of rule of thumb is that you should be able to market anything. It's a bit like sales. Like if you're a good salesperson, you can sell anything. But I also find that having worked jobs where I didn't like the product or didn't like the company as much, it was harder to kind of be enthusiastic about something that you're not essentially enthusiastic about. So it's very much helped that I actually enjoy knitting and love her patterns and her books and things. So it's been a really, really good start to the job. And one of the things that we did when I was up there is we sat down and we planned out the knit along. So I suggested the knit along because I've done crochet alongs before and knit alongs before. And I thought with her bringing out the new book, like she had such momentum with the book coming up to the launch that, you know, afterwards it can be a bit like, oh, well now what, sort of thing. And so I suggested, well, we could do a knit along because it's going to bring your community together and get people knitting from your books. So that's why we've sort of come up with this idea of the knit along, and it was so good sitting down. We've planned out the whole 6 months, and Susan's not a planner like me. I am one of those people. I absolutely love to make a plan for 6 months to a year, and really like go into detail what we're going to do, why we're going to do it, who needs to do what and by what date, that sort of thing. Susan's a little bit more carefree than I am, maybe you could say. She doesn't plan as much as I do. So it was really good that we actually sat down and got that plan into place. And so we do have a really good knit along lined up for you. So one of the reasons I haven't mentioned before that that's who I work for is that I don't want my viewers to think that this is just an advert channel for Susan. It's not. This channel is very much my own opinions. I have separate views and opinions to the knit world, to Susan, so don't sort of like think we're affiliated, that kind of thing. But I am going to be doing the knit on because I wanted to do the knit or knit from one of her patterns. So this is the new book that she's brought out, my copy, which is very exciting. And I am going to be knitting the front cover one, which is Cloud Buster or Cloud Busting. So as soon as I saw this pattern, like this was way before I started working for Susan, I was like, I need to knit that pattern. And I bought this book like way before I started working for her. And it's just such a beautiful design. So let's have a look at the pictures. This is your classics, like 1940s Tyrolean cardigan. So beautiful. And that's the thing about Susan's books, is that they're all really beautifully produced. So Susan's husband Gavin used to work in the print industry, so he knows his stuff when it comes to printing. And so the care and attention that goes into the books is phenomenal. And I think that's probably why it took so long to produce as well, is that because they're known for their books, they don't want to rush it. They don't want to bring out something that's going to be substandard. So they've really searched for, you know, the best places to get it printed, the best kind of card stock or paper stock to get it printed on, all that kind of thing. It's really, really thought about, as well as the vintage patterns, obviously. And that's Susan's forte, is that she really goes into the detail of each pattern. She makes sure that the patterns work, because having worked from vintage patterns before, I think we can all say that some are more successful than others. Some can be really tricky. So I've actually knitted, where is it, chevron 213. I knitted this one before I knew that she was going to be bringing this one out. So this one, I think I featured it in my second episode. So this has crazy gauge problems, and Susan indeed found that as well, that it comes out a very, very strange combination of sizes when you knit directly from the vintage pattern. So she really took the time with that one, and with the test knitter that she worked with, they really did lots and lots of swatches, lots, troubleshooting lots of ways, like doing lots of mathematical equations to really make sure that every size that you knit from this book is going to come out the size that you want it to, rather than the vintage version, which was like really, really big. So yeah, if you want to go back and watch, I'll pop a little link up if you want to watch the episode where I talk through the problems that I had from that vintage pattern. So it's brilliant that it's in this book, because I might go back and re-knit that one, but with like proper instructions rather than the vintage. Try it and hope for the best. So yeah, that was really exciting. That's in that. But I will be knitting the front cover one, the Cloud Busting. My dogs are barking. I might wait until they stop, because I think someone's coming home. Okay, I think they've stopped barking. So I got sucked in by marketing again. I know, I'm a fool. But one of my loves in life is cashmere. I really want to knit out of cashmere, but it's horrendously expensive. Even just like buying knitted cashmere is expensive, so to knit it yourself, it's going to be like 10 times that, isn't it? But I was aware of this brand, Nordic Yarn, and their full price cashmere is very, very pricey. I think it would have come to about $300–400 for like a sweater's worth of yarn. So when I saw that they were doing a half price sale, I was like, yes please. And so I bought the colours for the Cloud Buster, so that I could make the Cloud Buster out of it. But when it came, I realised, I hadn't really paid attention to the gauge. It's in fact double knit. And the Cloud Busting cardigan is 4-ply. So I now have a sweater worth of this in double knit, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So I'll always find something to do with it. But the red, love this red. It's beautiful. What colour is this? Oh, they don't have colour names, it's just colour numbers. So I was pleased with the red, but I wasn't so pleased with these two. I thought thought this would be darker, and this is the problem with buying from the internet, isn't it? You don't know quite what the colour is going to be unless you've seen it in person and can remember. And I thought this was going to be a slightly different blue. This is quite a, how do I describe this? Quite a sky sort of blue. It's just not the blue that I really wanted. So with that in mind, I was going to have to replace these anyway because I didn't like the colours enough to want to knit in them, and it was obviously double knit, not 4-ply. So I have since found in my stash, I had this cashmere that I have shown you before in another episode. I can't remember which one it was, but I will put a link if I can find it. This is Pearl Soho Eco Cashmere. So this is 95% recycled cashmere, 5% other fibres. Don't know what those other fibres are. And it's in this beautiful oatmeal-y kind of colour, which was the other colour that should have come, that should go with the others. Like, these are the colours of the Cloudbuster, and they go together really, really well. I just didn't have this colour in the double knit stuff, so I would have put this one in anyway, but it was it was thinner, so this is 4-ply. So that was this colour. Then I found these from Lee's Tailor. So this is a beautiful, beautiful blue. I think it's marine blue. Yep, marine blue. And it is beautiful. It's quite sort of like navy blue, but oh yeah, it's definitely marine, isn't it? It's that kind of submariner kind of blue that you see submariner ganzis in. And then this is orage, fancy French word. This is beautiful. This is more of a tealy colour, which is much more what I thought the other colour, the other blue was going to be. So if I hold them together, you can see they're quite different. This is much more of your kind of burnt kind of colours, if that makes sense. Like a burnt orange would be that kind of hue, wouldn't it? So it's much more tealy, which is beautiful. So I'm loving these three together. Then the other two colours, I have this, which I only have this much left, but I did what did I make with this? I can't remember what I made with it, but that's what I've got left of that. So that should do the alabaster, and this would be the main colour, which is slightly different from the colours that are in this one. So the colour that Susan used is kind of between these two colours for the main backgroundy kind of colour. So I'll be using this darker one because I don't have enough of the cream. I would have ideally liked to have it in the cream because I think it's nicer than the darker, and I would have done the ribbing and button band in this colour because I think that's really nice contrast between the cream. Maybe I will have enough. I'll weigh it, see. But I do have some in this glove that I've made. Now this is from a vintage pattern, and the reason I haven't finished the other glove is because this was the most ridiculous vintage pattern. Like, whatever I did, I could not get the fingers and thumbs to work. They are really long and they're really pointy. And that is the problem with look at these two. I think by this one I'd kind of tried to round it out a bit, but it's still ridiculously long on my finger. So this is the problem with vintage patterns, is that they can come out a bit crazy. Like, my knitting teacher Millie was like, what is going on? But yeah, they're really pointy. If I do that, then the thumb kind of works a bit, but these two are crazy, these two. It's a really nice design, but I could always unpick the cream from this if I need a bit more, or unravel rather than unpick. But the red in this, I've got this red somewhere in my knitting room somewhere. So this is the contrast red that I'll be using for these little like star motifs. So those are the colours and yarns that I'm using. So it's a bit of a jumble of brands and Like this is definitely nylon-y, polyester-y, and the red is as well. And then this is cashmere, and then this is merino and silk. So it's a bit of a mishmash of different blends of yarn. But I didn't want, like, after I'd spent so much on the cashmere, I didn't really want to spend any more, like getting like the cream or the red again. Like, I could make do. And these are quite soft, to be fair. I don't have the band on it, so I don't know for sure, but I think it's Style Craft, which I prefer to Sirdar for like acrylic-y, polyester-y type yarns. It's a much better quality than the Sirdar, in my opinion. Again, not bashing Sirdar, I do love them as well. So yeah, those are the colours that I'm going to be using in a mishmash. It'll be interesting to see how this eco cashmere works up, because this is eco cashmere as well. So this is 50% recycled cashmere and 50% virgin cashmere. So 50% new and 50% recycled. And I don't know what my opinion is on recycled yarns yet, because my mum has bought recycled polyester jumpers from Marks and Spencer's, and they wash terribly. And I think one of my jumpers is recycled polyester, and it has pilled to hell. It's like unwearable, it's so pilly. And so, like, it's great that it's recycled and that it's like doing a little bit towards like the waste in the industry, but if it doesn't hold up to wear, and it's worse than natural fibres like wool, like we all expect wool and soft fibres to pill, but if it's more pilly, if it's worse than that, then it's not worth the extra money, or it's not worth it, really, is it? And usually recycled products like this tend to be more expensive because they have those extra processes where they have to, like, I don't know, strip out the dyes and things like that. So it's still not like great environmentally, but it makes people feel better, I guess, having recycled products. So I don't know how this is going to knit up and wear, but I'm excited to try it, because if it is good, who knows? And this was excuse me, I've got a terrible tickly throat today. I hope I haven't picked up anything off the train. Anyway, it'd be really interesting to see how this knits up, and this one as well, in fact. So I've only got one ball of this really gorgeous red. So the thing with this yarn is that you can only buy them in packs of 10. So it is like a sweater quantity. You can buy mixed colours, so you can choose the quantity of balls. So I only got one of the red because that's all I needed for the jumper, and the rest I got the other colours that I needed. So it's a really beautiful Christmas red. This would be so nice for the Christmas jumper in here. What's it called? Conifer. There it is. That would be really nice for this one, and that is a double knit. Yeah, it is a double knit weight jumper, so that would be. But again, I only have one of these, and it needs. This is in 100 gram skeins, so I would need probably 3 or maybe 4. So yeah, I'm not ordering more because it's expensive. It was really expensive, even though it was half price. So lesson learned. But I suppose I could make like a scarf or a hat out of this. Who knows? I'll think of something, no doubt, because it is beautifully soft. Being cashmere, it is that beautifully soft. I really wish it was full ply. But there we go. Lesson learned. Don't impulse buy off the internet. Unless it's with Susan Crawford, because that pays my wages. But back to the Susan Crawford knit along. So it starts on the 14th of October, I want to say. I should probably know that, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's the 14th of October. So you've got a couple of weeks to gather all your bits and bobs, and it's going to be really relaxed pace. You can join in any time along the 6 months. It's free to join in. The only sort of stipulations is that you have to use a Susan Crawford vintage pattern. You don't even have to use her yarn, but there is, if you came to the book launch, there is a sneaky little discount code if you do want to use her yarn for the yarn kits. So if you want to knit something, for example, from the new book, you just get the kit for your size, and there's a nice little discount. I think it was 10% discount. So yeah, there's a little incentive for everyone to get knitting. And her yarns are really beautiful. They are they're those sticky kind of British yarns, so they're very, very warm. And I have to say, I took my Halloween jumper up to the Lake District because I know up north it's a little bit colder than here down south, and it was brilliant because it was a lot colder. I was really surprised actually that it was a lot colder than down south. I suppose I shouldn't be that surprised. So I really did actually need that jumper. So that's brilliant. I'm going to get so much wear out of it. I can just take it to the Lake District whenever I go. So yeah, I'm going to probably be going to the Lake District every sort of quarter, just for a few days, just to do like plans and things for whatever marketing things we have going on. So I'm going to actually get some wear out of it, guys, because I was a bit worried that living down south never really gets that cold, or cold enough to wear those kind of yarns. And it kind of, when I went up there, it made so much more sense that that's where these kind of yarns come from, because they do genuinely need that thicker jumper and that warmer jumper. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it, when you visit places where things are from, it makes so much more sense. And I found that when I was studying wine, but actually when I went to Germany, to the Mosel, to the wine region there, having that kind of context of seeing those wines in the place that they come from and the kind of foods that go with them and the foods that people were eating there, it made much more sense. So it's very much like that with the yarn world, I suspect. So yeah, I really want to go on more yarn trips, like and wine trips. So I really want to go to Norway. I suspect the Norwegian sort of style of knitting makes a lot more sense once you've been there and experienced the cold weather that they have and the kind of yarns that they use there as well. So yeah, I thought that was quite interesting to note that that was made from Susan Crawford yarn, that Halloween sweater. That the reason that those kind of yarns are from that area is because they do need that warmth and that kind of rugged kind of British woolliness. So yeah, if you like sort of sticky yarns like that, you'll love Susan's yarns, because they are those kind of hardy British breeds that are from up north. I'm more of your kind of soft yarns, so I love alpaca, and I love which reminds me, a friend of mine has just gone to Peru, which I'm very excited to hear about all of her knitty kind of adventures out there. I think she's already sent some pictures in the group chat that we have of like Peruvian woman spinning yarn, and the lady was wearing a beautiful knitted cardigan while spinning the yarn, which is very exciting. So I want to go to Peru because South American ones are really good. So I could go to Peru for the alpacas and the yarn and stuff, and then I could go to like Argentina for the wine. It would be like an amazing trip, wouldn't it? But that's enough about my wants for the future. I need to earn the money to do that first, so that would be a very expensive trip. But yes, so if you want to use Susan yarns, if you sign up for the knit along, there will be a code at some point, and each month we plan on doing a different sort of a little incentive. So whether it might be like a deal on patterns or a deal on yarns or whatever, just to try and sort of keep you sweet. And as like a thank you for joining our knit along. So I think that's everything for today. I think I've got through most things. Let me look at my list. Tick, 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 tick. Yeah, that's all that I've been knitting at the moment. So I don't know when my next episode will be, because I have massively oversubscribed myself with all the knit-alongs and courses and things that I want to be doing. And another thing, actually, that I haven't mentioned is end of October I'm going on a knitting retreat to Devon. So this is with my friend who is a teacher. We're going to, I think it's just outside Tiverton, for, I think it's only 3 days, so it's not like as long as the Lake District one that I went on, and it's not as far, obviously. So Devon, it's only about an hour and a half at the most to Tiverton from where I live. So I can actually drive this one. It's not as far as, I'm not driving to the Lake District. So I'm going to Devon, and it's going to be really exciting because we're going to an alpaca farm, and I'm very, very excited about this because I love them. Apart from them being really, really soft, they're really cute as well. So yeah, that's another thing that I'm doing that's going to make me extra tired. So I'm not sure when my next episode will be. I might have been on the yarn retreat by the time I get around to filming my next episode, actually, because it's not that far away. Yeah, that's everything for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you are going to do a knit along, if you're going to do the Sirdar one, let me know. And if you're going to do the Susan Crawford one, let me know. Let me know what you're going to be knitting. It should be good fun. So I will see you soon, and have a good time knitting.